Okay, so
All right,
we're
so
back
we're-
on again.
So we're back.
We're
on
going to
again.
continue from where we were talking about.
Yeah, and I was going to say, all right, this is an oxymoron. I can remember, and then I forgot what I was going to remember. But like, all right. So I think I believe I was talking about that, self-talk that's programmed into us. That's it. I can remember most of my life being told how selfish I am, and I said to this, sibling. I mean, who cares? That they didn't really know me, and they only knew me from their perception. And that's what you really need to understand, that somebody's opinion is only coming from their limited perception.
Yes.
And that limited perception is usually coming from the self, and it's a reflection. And if you can really grasp that idea and understand, and then on top of that have compassion for yourself, that you realize that point, that right there is such a freeing moment, to go forward and have that confidence that you need, because you can actually have compassion for those people who have, so wronged you in the past, so you believe. And it's not about being selfish. It's about caring for the self, which we're never brought up to learn. You don't learn it in school. Not a lot of us learn it at home. I remember when my children were little, and when my kids were younger, and they would come home and they would tell me somebody was getting teased at the bus stop, and I would get a phone call from a parent that day telling me that my son or my daughter, the kid that was being teased, like they went over and they said, don't worry about them, and they said to the other kids, you're being mean and you don't know how their life is. And it really did my heart good to know that my kids grew up compassionate like that and thinking about the other person. And I can remember saying to them, you never know where somebody came from. You never know what happened to them in their life, that they are who they are, or they think what they think, or they say the mean things to other people that they say.
Yeah.
So, that's all about having, self-compassion and thinking about yourself and how you want to be treated. And, back to having self-compassion and learning to make the time for you that you need, and understanding that should be the most important thing in your life, is to take care of you, and having compassion for other people. And it just opens you up to each one of us in this mindset changes the energy and the consciousness of the whole planet. If every one of us, one at a time, one day at a time, changed our perception to be compassionate. Oh, and use that exercise that I gave you probably 3 times in the weeks that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Every day, wake up, be grateful. Every day, send love to 3 people that you just don't particularly care for. And if you have to repeat the same people every once in a while, so be it. It's a thought. It's a thought. Are you going to tell me that for 1 minute you can't change and just say, all right, I'm going to send them love, and just do it? It's a thought, for God's sakes. It's not like you have to go and buy them dinner. It's not like you have to go and buy them clothes. It's not like you have to go and do, you're not even putting yourself out. You're changing a thought. Maybe you need to just start there. Change a thought and see how simple it is to just, and you know what? It feels better. It feels so much better to send out compassion than it does to send out anger and hate. And, I see a lot of disturbing things online that people write, and they're putting all their nasty things that happen and online, and it's like,
I turn it off every day.
I don't even want to read that.
I take Facebook off my phone regularly for that reason.
Yeah, you just have to.
Because you get caught up in it and you keep scrolling through.
And you're giving it energy.
Yeah, you're giving it energy.
Those of you out there that are doing this, you're giving energy to the one thing that you really, are angry about. All right, I'm sorry. Okay. It's a self-help.
She said she wasn't going to touch them today.
I know. This one really
Anyway,
called me right now.
I'm actually going to say I've been reading this book this week called Making Life Easy.
Christian Northrup. She's awesome.
She's amazing.
Medical
And
leading edge of.
there's a lot of the things that you're saying, she gives instruction to. And she calls God or the higher being divine love. And so
'Cause that's
really
what it is.
the first 3 chapters is all I'm on right now, and I took all these notes on the how-tos. She calls it a petition rather than a prayer.
Okay.
And so there's a whole petition about releasing that stuff. So whether or not you can even say to that person, but just releasing the energy of it, there's a way to do that. So you might not want to name the person, but name the feeling that you have, or the whatever it is that you think is holding you back. And listen, sometimes you might have sent your forgiveness and your love and you still feel it. There's this one who's just for whatever it is that's keeping me stuck in this feeling or moment or whatever, release that. And there's all these different things that she says about it, and it's just more of what we talk about, but she calls it a simple guide to divinely inspired life. And I want to add to that, and a balanced life, because that's what I've been working on, is just finding balance. And all of these things that we're working on helps with that.
Definitely. And the releasing of it, here's the thing. Negative thoughts, negative energies are very, very dense in the body, and they weigh you down. If you could see them, it would look like this huge Santa sack over your shoulder. The more you let go of things and replace it with compassion, there's the compassion for yourself, because you care enough about yourself not to carry this stuff around, because we know how that negative energy does affect at some level. At some time, it's going to happen, that it's going to affect you physically. And I can remember saying in the deepest, deepest, deepest of my stuff, 2 years ago, going like this, you know what? This situation and these people are not going to make me sick.
Right.
And that day,
that's big. That's
that
huge.
day, I was like, there's my out.
Yep.
I am not going to let this make me sick, because basically that's what it does.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you something. 2 years later, I feel healthier and happier than I have been in a very long time. And, doing all this work really helps. This is what kept me above water, and soon this too will pass, and something new will come up, and I'll learn another lesson. But I know from here on in, they're only going to be easier, because all of that's behind me, and that's how I see it. Behind me, what's in store now? What new lessons do I have? But if I'm going to address these lessons and go into the next situation or relationships feeling compassion for myself, things from this different perception, I already know that my life's going to get easier and easier. And I think that the older we get, the more we learn, the less we really care about, what somebody else is thinking, and what's somebody going to say about this or say about that. We've told you numerous times, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What really matters in our life is what's here, and what we're giving out, and what we're asking for in return. And really, who asks for anything in return? It's every day you get up and say, in what way can I serve today? And I'm telling you, a lightness and a feeling and a buzz goes through your body that's unreplaceable. And it really, it frees you up, it lightens you up for all the things you're asking for. You're now making room for all the things you want to come to you, and all the signs that you want, and the path that you want to be on. Let me tell you something, you let go of that stuff, and all of a sudden, your yellow brick road just happens in front of you, because you've allowed for that space and for your path to be open to you.
Yeah.
So
for sure. I had this week we had to put our dog down.
I'm sorry.
And I being the mother, and he was my puppy since he was 14 years old, and I had a lot of struggle with it. There's a lot of stuff with it, right? So we found a service called Lap of Love, which was amazing.
Nice.
First of all, so if you ever have to go through that, totally look it up. But I have teenagers, and we had to go through the sadness of it.
Yeah.
And my
Huge loss for
son,
them.
yeah, my son's like quieter, and I wanted to make sure that I knew the grief that I was feeling, and I wanted to make sure everybody was able to process it for themselves.
Right.
And I made sure that we practiced self-love, and I got to see how it played out because I was so mindful of the whole entire thing. It happened Sunday afternoon, and in the morning I made sure I made chicken soup in the crock pot, and I told them, set the table, and they looked at me and they're like, who's going to want to eat after all that? And I said, it's like a funeral, and you have closure.
That's right.
And you be kind to yourselves, and we'll talk about everything. And so let me tell you, by the time Monday rolled around, because Sunday night was sad beyond like words, I saw that everyone practiced self-care. My daughter made videos, we all looked through pictures. Everyone had the time to cry. My husband, my son, everybody was able to process it, and to have, I could see the self-compassion and the self-care from me all the way through the family. And as sad as it is, and I might get filled up about it as I'm talking about it, but we were all able to experience it, and I could see it. And at the end of the day, I just thought how proud I was that everybody was able to process, but also that everybody had their own self-love, and that everybody could then move forward into the week.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it was beautiful, and I'm grateful to have the awareness of everything.
Right, and what you're going through, and how to care for yourself while you're going through it.
Yes. And
loss.
sometimes I've been wanting to do this where I'm like, it's fine, like, don't feel bad for me, don't anything, like, because you have to be somebody's rock or something. No, you have to feel what you need to feel, and you have
to be your rock,
be your own person. And so
we all like to have a rock, but
know that it's okay to feel the feelings, to process the feelings, to be whoever you need to be, and to love yourself through it all. And I saw it, and it worked. I'll say that. And I was really proud of my family and myself for being able to provide that for everybody, so that we could all have love and compassion and gratitude and closure.
And it comes from practicing
Yes.
all of these
Yes.
laws and all of these different things that we've been talking to you about. And here you see how it really does work, and it really does help people to move on.
Yes.
And there you are, showing compassion for yourself and a loss. So we hope that this was helpful today, and we love you. And we're getting into the holidays soon, so kind of thinking that we're going to start talking about handling the holidays at this level. So we look forward to seeing you next week, and we hope that you like this. And if you know anybody that can benefit from any of the information that you got here today, please feel free to share. And we love you. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.